we have ourselves a brand new hoax, a brand new campaign line. And that campaign line is Donald Trump is cognitively and mentally impaired because Donald Trump literally listened to music and danced for 45 minutes.
Isn't that beautiful, though?
Now, the Harris campaign immediately pounced on this. They called out a, quote, confused Trump. We showed those clips earlier of him dancing when they were having this musical fest. But NBC spoke to attendees who loved it.
Yeah, because everybody loves to be entertained. This is an entertainer here, people. This is not a president.
I just want to go ahead and say to Michael Steele right now, that entertainer, that buffoon, defeated Hillary Clinton. He defeated your girl. So what the hell does that make her? Now, guys, before we get started, make sure you guys please go ahead and hit the like button so that way the video will take off up the algorithm. This was kind of sort of the feature video of the day. It will be out at 6 o'clock. I'm actually releasing 2 additional videos, one at 12 and one at 3, so make sure you guys catch up on those. I'll probably put them in the final 2 end cards at the end of the screen anyways. And also something else to make sure you guys please go ahead and turn on the notifications so that way you guys notify when the videos come out. And if you guys are new here, please consider subscribing and let us go ahead and get into this. So what exactly is going on here? Well, like I said, now the mainstream media, of course, the main outlet, of course, being MSNBC, and of course CNN has joined in too because they brought Don Lemon back for this segment. We'll get to him in a minute. They decided to go with the tagline that Donald Trump is mentally and cognitively and he's physically impaired, and he's not right. He's not there because he danced for about 45 minutes during a campaign rally, which was really a town hall in Pennsylvania 2 nights ago. An event that I actually saw, by the way. And I'll link in the description box for you guys. And, of course, I didn't really see where the man was doing anything outside what he normally does. I mean, there was this incident where a woman had a medical emergency. And, of course, Donald Trump basically, got this woman help because these type of things normally do happen, or they're not exactly uncommon as rallies because a lot more older people go there. You stand there for a while. People stand in line for hours at a time. It's not going to be, out of the ordinary if somebody passes out. Still, though, I do find it absolutely hilarious that the people who debunked this was actually ABC News.
And Trump's town hall event in Pennsylvania took an unusual turn after he was interrupted twice by medical emergencies in the room. Trump stopped taking questions and stood on stage for nearly 45 minutes listening to his soundtrack. The crowd slowly dispersed, but many stayed for what became an impromptu indoor concert. ABC News senior national correspondent Terry Moran joins me now for more from Pennsylvania. Hey, Terry.
There's more from ABC News coming up in this video. I just want to go ahead and put that first bit out so that way you guys can kind of get an idea of exactly where we're going with this. But let's go ahead and start with the most obvious. So MSDNC has hired Max Rose. Max Rose is a congressman or a former congressman out of the state of New York. I think he's I want to say he was a Staten Island representative, Long Island. And his little shtick was that he would go on Fox News and he would talk about how the Democratic Party is going too far left and how it is that he is more than open, more than willing to be bipartisan. And, of course, that bipartisanship, if you actually look at his record, doesn't exactly exist. So the guy got absolutely humiliated by his opponent, and he, I think about a week before the actual election itself in 2022, I want to say that he had actually been making fun of this woman. No, it was actually 2020, my bad. He'd been making fun of this woman, basically going out of his way to mock her every chance he got. It was a well-known thing that was going around. And, of course, he ended up losing to the woman that he mocked. Well, now he's on MSDNC, and he's towing the brand new hoax. Let's check it out.
Yeah, you have to be demented to stand on stage and start dancing when it's a town hall. I mean, we have 2 sides of Donald Trump right now. One, we have just this grave threat to all that we hold dear, our Constitution, our democracy. On the same hand, I would say the principal driving force of his incompetency is the fact that he is not all there. He's a couple fries short of a Happy Meal at this point, and that's why he's standing up there dancing to the YMCA. He can barely do the YMCA if you actually check out the video. And so this is a story in a video. You don't even actually have to listen to his words. And it's just imperative at this point that the campaign pushes those 2 separate narratives. Grave threat and also just supremely incompetent and entering the final stages of his life.
This guy right here is just a real snake of a human being. I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out there. But of course, I have a feeling that there's a reason why it is that Max Rose is being put up there. And I think it's exactly what it was that I just said before. It's because his shtick used to be, I'm the bipartisan guy. And of course, I got to be here to call out the left when they go too far. But as you guys can obviously see, he's more than willing to go along with the BS narrative. Now, that's going to be a video that's going to be coming up a little bit later on in the future, what happens after the election, because obviously I've got videos coming out that, of course, are going to detail what's going to happen then. And, of course, I told you guys I was going to keep with this schedule at least until the beginning of next year before I start shifting over to much, much more pop culture content. Speaking of that, there'll be another video coming out because it's a follow-up to my Joker video, so make sure you guys be on the lookout for that, probably coming on Friday. But the thing is this right here, it makes you wonder if maybe some people in the media are doing exactly what they probably should be doing. And that right there is preparing their audience for a loss. But still, though, CNN, they got to join in on this, and they got to trot out the likes of Don Lemon to basically confirm the hoax or push the narrative that, of course, Donald Trump is, in fact, mentally and cognitively impaired. By the way, before I get to Don Lemon, this is Bill Clinton. Bill is 77 years old. Donald Trump is 77 years old. You tell me which one of these two men looks better. You tell me which one of these two men looks healthier. I'm going to let you guys look at it for a second because you saw Bill first and now you're seeing Trump. You just tell me, just think to yourself who looks healthier. Now let's get to Don Lemon.
This is definitely the pursuit of the Harris campaign this morning. They sent out a doctor's note from 230 plus doctors and health providers saying the American people deserve to have confidence in their elected officials' mental and physical capacity to do the jobs they've elected them to do. Trump ought to be above and beyond, to be going above and beyond to provide transparency on his physical health and mental acuity given his advancing age. Mm-hmm. They're throwing everything at him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those are the standards that he had for who? Joe Biden. Those are the standards that he had for Barack Obama when he wanted him to release his birth records. So the rules just don't.
Real quick, not to cut Don off, or Dom, whatever you might want to call him, the same guy who also believed in black holes. Don't get me started. Yeah, these people going after Trump being cognitively impaired, it's kind of rich coming from these people, seeing how it is that they, as well as Kamala Harris, as you guys saw, there was a campaign letter there that demanded that Trump hand over his cholesterol results. It's kind of rich, especially given the fact that Kamala Harris helped hide the fact that Joe Biden was cognitively impaired, even though I didn't use that line to start things off because we all kind of knew that Joe was kind of messed up. We already knew that he was jacked up. We already knew that he was not capable of being president, but of course these people got caught, so therefore they have to feign whatever the hell they have to feign to try to manipulate the voters that they have that are all gassed up, which, by the way, may be a new name for a channel coming out in the future. I mean, this right here, I may change it to all gassed up with John, but still, the point is this right here. This right here is just more and more gaslighting by these people, and of course the Kamala Harris campaign can't help themselves but join in the gaslighting, and in some cases, even lead the gaslighting. Now, how effective it's going to be, I don't think it will be, especially given the fact that yeah, if I see somebody dancing or listening to music in a tranquil state, I'm not going to think that they're mentally or cognitively impaired. I'm going to think that they're maybe focused in, and I may even think that maybe they're in great physical shape because, let's be honest, people who tend to be in good shape, especially for their age, when they get happy, if they dance or move around, that typically is a sign that, of course, they're probably healthy. But let's keep watching this dribble.
To him. Is he okay? You know, Kamala Harris is asking, the vice president is asking, I hope he's okay. He's not okay. That behavior is not okay. Let's just be honest about it. It's odd. It's weird. If you look at his rallies, you'll see when he went to Coachella, he just sort of stands there and, you know, wants people to sort of, he's like bask in the glow of the applause. When he goes to just regular rallies, he waits for, you know, I'm proud to be an American. He stands there the entire time and just like, you know, letting people sort of praise him as if he's a monarch. This behavior is not okay, and I think leading up to the election, it's going to get worse. The hyperbole, the sort of unusual behavior, it's going to get worse as he gets more desperate until Election Day comes.
The rules don't apply to him, basking in the glow of the applause in Coachella. It does make me wonder why it is that Trump is campaigning in California and New York even. Yeah, that's actually pretty obvious. It's designed to help out down ballot candidates, of course, because congressional races are going to matter because Donald Trump is obviously going to need a Congress that's obviously going to work with him this time around when he's president. But It makes me wonder how these people are going to act after he wins. However, that right there will be coming up a little bit later on this week because Mark Halpern was on with Tucker Carlson earlier this week, and let's just say that topic of mental illness did in fact come up. But of course, if you want mental illness, you can go right to MSNBC and we can listen to the rest of the drivel that came from Soy Boy Michael Steele.
Jester who wants to be king. And the reality is this man cannot be the leader of the free world. He cannot articulate a vision for that world. He cannot lay out a plan. He has concepts of plans. Now, imagine if the current vice president of the United States got on a stage and said, "Oh, the hell with questions. Why don't we just sit here and listen to music?" There would have been all kinds of racial memes about her sex, about her ethnicity, and her being incompetent. She can't take questions. She only took 5 questions and she stopped and just wanted to stand on the stage and dance. You imagine Kamala Harris standing on the stage dancing like that 3 weeks before an election? America needs to get serious here and stop pretending that individual is going to provide the kind of future you want for your kids and grandkids.
At the beginning of the video, that court gesture, that buffoon, as you guys have to call him, defeated your girl Hillary. That buffoon has been running circles around the media, been running circles around MSDNC ever since he stepped on stage, ever since he walked down that escalator. He's been running circles around you people. I think this right here, once again, is the mainstream media just going out of their way to create another BS hoax, going out of their way to not only create another BS hoax, but also to go on top of that there. They're also going out of their way to do what? Try to generate whatever narratives they can spin out there when they lose. This one right here to me is the one that comes out before the next one that comes out because once again, as we all already know, we don't live in a 24-hour news cycle. We live in a 60-second news cycle. Also, one more thing about Michael Steele before I get back to the rest of that ABC report and then eventually to CNN because, of course, it's funny to me that ABC News, of all people, debunked this, and also to go on top of that, ABC News, Nightly News are the ones who debunk this, which is even more hilarious because the people who are watching ABC News, especially at 6 o'clock at night, typically tend to be older Americans, which is the area of voting that Trump is looking to, how do I say, trying to max him out to ensure his overall victory. He's doing better in every other group than what he was in 2020 and 2016, but it always helps to have those older voters, those last-second older voters, to go out there and actually vote for him. And, of course, ABC Nightly News also does very, very well, especially with that crowd. But I do find it funny that they're the ones who debunk this. We'll get back to that in a second. The fact of the matter is this right here. People like Michael still have no credibility. People like Max Rose have no credibility. People like Don Lemon have no credibility. I don't know why the hell Don Lemon is even brought back out there. It's even kind of funny that he's even being talked about or mentioned. CNN fired him about a year ago over his comments of Nikki Haley. Oh, that's right. He got fired because he said that Nikki Haley was too old. He got fired for saying that Nikki Haley was too old. You see, Democrats and the left are hilarious to me because they accuse you of being ageist or bigoted against old people if you simply remind them that they've got some age on them. And while Trump does have some age on him, he's definitely spry, much, much more spry. Do I have to bring up Bill Clinton's 77-year-old ass one more time and compare him next to Trump again? Also, something else too, Bill lives with Hillary, so therefore that might also add to the age factor and the frailtiness of Bill Clinton. But still at the same time, though, I think it's actually hilarious that the same people who are saying Donald Trump is too old for the job or being ageist, they'll also tell you that you were ageist for pointing out that Joe Biden was mentally and cognitively impaired. And also to go on top of that, it's also hilarious that Kamala Harris, who also assisted in the coup against Joe Biden, is also bringing this up. But like I said, we do have more to get to. Let's go to Scott Jennings because Scott Jennings also had a very good take on this. I mean, he's been eating CNN up like crazy. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious how many ass whoopings he hands out to these people.
I wouldn't be leaning too heavily into who's hiding what kind of medical conditions of people who are or want to be the president, given her role in lying about the condition of Joe Biden for the last 4 years. That's number one. Number two, I don't think this works for her. I think I'm back in the same bucket I was earlier. You're not selling your own candidacy. You're punching Donald Trump in the same way every other Democrat we've ever heard from for the last 8-9 years has punched this guy. That's not the problem with your campaign. We've heard all the attacks on Trump. If she cannot sell her own candidacy any better than just punching on him, I'm for her, if I were in her camp, I just don't know it's going to be enough. That's my view.
Smart for the Kamala Harris campaign to continue to remind people
Honestly, just to be lectured by Democrats about you have to have mental acuity to be the president of the United States. After what we just lived through for the last 4 years, come on, don't lecture me about mental acuity in the presidency. But when Democrats, who all, you included, who all assured us that Joe Biden was riding unicycles and juggling knives in the Oval Office, when we know that wasn't true, and Harris was the chief cheerleader for that whole, the lectures about the mental acuity, come on.
There is so much stuff there that he said that was absolutely 100% correct. Look, let me say this real quick. First and foremost, when presidential campaigns go negative, like very, very negative, and just start coming up with any attack line they can at the very end, especially like last month, that means they're losing. That means their internal poll numbers are bad. The reason why is because parts of their own base, of course, this also includes left-wing independents, are saying, I don't think I want to vote for this woman. And of course, if you look at the early vote numbers, which by the way, you can get on Twitter, I'll even link a couple of accounts out of Virginia, Pennsylvania. They're way behind their mark from 2020. And the voters that are showing up voting Democrat are the higher propensity voters. So they're kind of cannibalizing their vote a little bit early, and them going negative is just more and more proof of that. The acuity test that Donald Trump wants her to take, that seems like a troll. But then again, though, it was Judge Joe Brown who said in his interview, The Art of the Dialogue, he's been right about it a lot, who stated that he felt that the word salads that she was having was probably an indication that she was cognitively impaired, or she had something like that in her background that may force her to be, let's just say, dementia could set in a little bit earlier. And of course, the last thing I want to say before we get to the ABC segment, to be lectured by these people is absolutely 100% laughable. And something else, too, they've not only hit this man with negative ads, they've hit this man with even lead. And of course, it still has not worked. But let's get to ABC News.
Ground state looking for votes. And it was scheduled to be this town hall event where he would be taking questions and listening to voters. And it turned into something else, as you say, when the candidate turned into a DJ.
Donald Trump, in his 11th trip to must-win Pennsylvania, urged his supporters to turn out on Election Day.
We win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing.
Yes. In a town hall-style event in the western suburbs of Philadelphia, the former president stuck to his top issues, attacking Vice President Harris over inflation and immigration. He pledged to shut the southern border, end Russia's war in Ukraine, lower prices at the grocery store, and bring down interest rates to 2%, while providing few details on how he'd accomplish all that.
People don't think of grocery. You know, it sounds like not such an important word when you talk about homes and everything else, right? But more people tell me about grocery bills, where the price of bacon, the price of lettuce, the price of tomatoes, they tell me. And we're going to do a lot.
Talking about the issues is what the man is doing. And of course, he's doing these town halls where Kamala Harris just goes on Charlemagne the God. And she gets asked questions about reparations. It tells me that, like I said before, the problem that Kamala Harris is having is that she can't, she can't even get her own left-leaning independents to go out and vote for her. The lower propensity voters that you need on Election Day, that you need before Election Day to actually win. The ones who mostly vote in presidential elections. But let's continue.
But then, 30 minutes in, 2 attendees suffered medical emergencies.
A doctor, please. Doctor.
The incidents shifted the mood, prompting Trump to cut the questions short and instead play some of his favorite music.
How about this? We'll play YMCA and we'll go home.
Trump kept DJing, and most of his supporters stayed for another 30 minutes of his playlist.
Well, in certain quarters of social media, people had a field day with that, and I guess on the screens it might have looked quite strange. Inside that hall, however, people were having a good time. What can I tell you?
Put in your place by ABC News at this moment in time is absolutely legendary. But then again, though, I want to say that CBS also did something recently, too, especially after that debate that J.D. Vance had with Tim Walz, where they tried to sabotage it. But to me, it's absolutely hilarious to see the nightly news, which, by the way, is mostly watched by older viewers and also poorer viewers who don't have cable, or maybe they're just loyal to a certain brand. It's absolutely hilarious to see this happen. So, yeah, I think what the hell is going on is that the Kamala Harris campaign has gone full-blown desperate. I mean, look. Like I said before, when you start doing attack lines like what they're doing now, that means that your poll numbers are not very good, and you're also trying to lean into more red meat. You're trying to throw more to your base. Of course, they're not really eating it right now because it's probably rotten like a few other things with this person. But still, though, it also makes you wonder why this woman suddenly wants to go on Rogan. Well, the reason why is because she's doing really, really bad with men. She's trying to get wherever the hell she can out there. But I also told you guys before, they also don't believe that her female numbers are as strong as that they are claiming that they are. So who the hell knows? Still, though, at the same time, though, make sure you guys please leave a comment in the comment section. I want to hear what you guys have got to say. Please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comment section. I'm going to up the content up for the next couple of days, so make sure you guys are on the lookout for it. And I'll see you guys later.